Secret Societies and Currency Design, Freemasons, Rosicrucians, Hidden Authors of Money. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Money Magic series. Pick up any banknote and hold it to the light. You'll see rosettes that look like cathedral windows, lattices as intricate as talismans, Latin mottos that read like incantations, and number constellations that recur with the stubbornness of a ritual count. Currency is not only accounting, it is authorship. And behind that authorship, from early modern Europe to the Atlantic revolutions and forward into the age of central banks, stand fraternities that treated symbol as a technology: Freemasons, Rosicrucians, Hermetic circles, printer guilds with initiatory rules, orders for whom geometry, proportion, and allegory were not decoration, but power. When those orders bled into civil government and finance, their visual grammar bled onto paper. The result is the thing you spend every day, a portable page from an esoteric manuscript, masquerading as money. To understand why secret societies cared about money's appearance, remember what they believed symbols can do. In Masonry, architecture is an allegory of moral construction. Measure truly, square your actions, build a temple within. In Rosicrucian thought, the cosmos is a book of correspondences. Metals, planets, numbers, and flowers echo one another, and to arrange them correctly is to harmonize fate. If you think this way, a banknote is a perfect vessel. It travels farther than a sermon, is handled more than a statute, outlives speeches and parades. If you can smuggle your order's grammar into the daily medium of exchange, you have placed your catechism in every hand. Consider the American Great Seal, the unfinished pyramid, and the radiant eye that now live on the back of the $1 bill. Historically, the seal was debated across several committees before its 1782 adoption. Its eye of providence had Christian roots and its pyramid a classical vocabulary. Yet those same two images are central on Masonic tracing boards. The all-seeing eye supervising the builder's work, the stepped monument rising toward a glory the builder cannot finish alone. Esoteric readers don't claim a Masonic copyright on providential eyes or ancient pyramids. They point out that the seal speaks the same visual language that Masons systematized. And when, in 1935, that seal migrated onto the note, the bill stopped being mere script and became a permanent talisman of new order aspirations. Annuit coeptis and Novus Ordo Seclorum, phrases that function as blessings and prophecies, even if you hear only Latin music in them. Look at the arithmetic of that bill. 13 stars above the eagle, 13 arrows, 13 leaves, 13 berries, 13 stripes. The number of the original states, yes, but also the ritual count of transformation in many occult numerologies. 12 for the completed cycle, 13 for the death door to a fresh octave. Whether the draftsman meant numerology or patriot bookkeeping, the effect is the same. Repetition turns number into spell. And that is the key insight of esoteric design. Repetition imprints. A motif repeated at every turn becomes a rhythm your subconscious cannot ignore. Move across the Atlantic. Before modern Euros carried imaginary bridges and windows, architectural symbols of passage and openness, carefully designed to be from no country and every country, imperial currencies performed the opposite magic. They anchored authority in coats of arms, crowns, lions, fasces, wreaths, and suns. Rosicrucian engravers in the German states, steeped in alchemical emblem books, loved radiant discs and rose knots that doubled as anti-counterfeiting guilloches. Guilloche itself, those hypnotic engine-turned curves that a microscope reveals as interlaced, never quite repeating lace, was invented as a security technique, but its effect is metaphysical. A visible proof that order is deeper than sight, a lattice of lawful curves that says, behind this paper stands a machine of precision. That was exactly what the lodges believed about reality. Follow the craft into the print shops. Banknotes are born where two traditions meet: the operative guilds of engravers and the speculative fraternities that adopted them. In both worlds, apprenticeship, degrees, oaths, and secrets regulate transmission. The geometric lathe, the burin, the plate, the press. These are instruments, but to the initiated, they are also ritual tools. The layout of a banknote is a lodge in miniature. Border, outer guard, inner cartouches, pillars and ashlars, central device, altar, motto, landmark. Even the way a note reveals itself under changing light, watermark emerging, security thread glowing, microscript whispering, mimics the initiatory sequence. First, the exoteric picture, then the hidden layers, then the word only the prepared can find. Why the secrecy? In the prosaic sense, to defeat counterfeiters. In the esoteric sense, because the power of symbol increases with the discipline required to wield it. Masonic ritual dramatizes this. Tools have moral meanings, and only a past fellowcraft learns their inner names. Rosicrucian manifestos promise enlightenment, but conceal their temples. Money inherits that posture. You may spend the surface, but the underimage belongs to the keepers of the plates and the guardians of the vaults. A central bank, architecturally, is half temple and half fortress for a reason. Franklin understood all of this instinctively. Long before the dollar carried the Great Seal, Benjamin Franklin printed colonial notes with leaf imprints, literal leaves pressed into plates to create unforgeable veins. It was security through nature's geometry, but it was also a miniature lesson in Hermeticism. As above, so below, as in the tree, so on the bill. The macrocosm palm-stamped into the microcosm of money. Franklin moved comfortably in Enlightenment salons where Masons and Rosicrucians rubbed shoulders. His notes show a printer who knew how to make a bill do more than add. He made it teach. Now flip back to modern design. The Euro's nowhere bridges are officially symbols of connection. Esoteric readers notice they are also initiatory gates. The British pound parades heraldry, lions, unicorns, mottos, medieval survivals that function as talismans of continuity. The Canadian loonie hides micro-maples that only a loop reveals. The Swiss franc stages color harmonies that follow exacting proportional systems. The Japanese yen's chrysanthemums compose a sovereign mandala. Security is the engineer's word. Sigil is the magician's. The two are not enemies. A good sigil is secure because it arranges complexity by law. What of the societies themselves? The Masons and Rosicrucians, whose names magnetize every conspiracy. Historically, they were fraternities of self-improvement and mutual aid, whose lodges attracted printers, architects, surveyors, and statesmen, especially in the 18th century. Their initiations taught candidates to read buildings and images as moral paragraphs. That habit spread with their members into governments, mints, and bureaus. You don't need a formal conspiracy to leave a fingerprint. You need a generation raised to think symbolically and hired to build the state's visual furniture. If you staff a new republic with men trained to love compasses, squares, and Latin maxims, they will choose pyramids and eyes when the committee asks for a seal. Yet, hidden authors are not only lodge brothers. They are the engravers whose signatures snake along vignettes, the typographers who choose the weight of the numerals, the mathematicians who pick the interference pattern in a hologram. The Bureau of Engraving and Printing in the United States, De La Rue in the UK, Giesecke plus Devrient in Germany, factories of secular magic where plates are guarded like grimoires, and whole departments exist to ensure a curve can't be cheaply copied. If you tour one, on the public path, not through the restricted doors, the feeling is unmistakable. Sacred craft. Even the smell of ink feels liturgical. Numbers, too, are part of the script. Serial numbers are utilitarian, yet the mind hunts patterns in them. A human gematria that delights in 777s and dreads long runs of 13. Central banks exploit that hunger for pattern in subtler ways. Denomination palettes that climb by ritual steps, families of notes that repeat a geometry across values the way a chant repeats a phrase across verses. And then there's the count built into state iconography. 13 for the American Union, 12 stars for the European Circle, 5 pointed stars marching like regimental wards. Even when the counts are civic, the feeling is liturgical. Order at a glance. The Great Seal repays another look, because it shows how layered authorship works. The eye, framed in a triangle, shines rays onto an unfinished pyramid of 13 courses. The eye is providence to the Protestant statesman, the all-seeing eye to the Mason, the radiant soul Niger to the alchemist who knows that the black sun of concealed wisdom lights the work from within. The pyramid is Egypt to the classicist, a symbol of durable polity to the Republican, the perfect emblem of the great work to the Hermeticist. Mass, base, ascent. No single intention rules the picture. The image is powerful precisely because it hosts many. This is how money works as a page. Multivocal, pragmatic, mystical, and legal at once. Does any of this do anything? The skeptic says no. Designers pick motifs, the public ignores them, the note circulates. The esoteric answer is quieter. Symbols train attention. Attention shapes behavior. Behavior shapes institutions. If the everyday object that mediates your exchanges constantly shows you hierarchy under an overseeing eye, constantly intones mottos about new ages and favored undertakings, constantly repeats civic counts like a rosary, you absorb a posture toward order. You are nudged toward the belief that value descends, that legitimacy is watched from above, that time moves in measured epochs. Secret societies did not need to control money to teach this. They needed only to equip the culture with a taste for it. Think of the production ritual. Paper made to exact recipes. Cotton or polymer mixed for longevity. Watermarks sculpted as reliefs in the very pulp. Threads woven that fluoresce at chosen wavelengths. Plates engraved with burns under magnification, until a single portrait hair requires an afternoon. Each step has two faces. A forensic purpose, thwart the counterfeiter, and a psychological effect, convince the holder. The second is a cult. Belief through craft. The confidence that makes money function does not come from statutes alone. It comes from holding a thing that seems too exact to be false. Secret orders specialized for centuries in precisely that alchemy, making belief tangible. Coins tell the same story in metal. The winged cap on the old Mercury dime, actually Liberty in a Phrygian cap with wings, whispers caduceus to anyone who knows Hermes Mercury as the god of trade and thieves. The wreaths and fasces, bundle of rods, on American coinage are Roman borrowings that encode authority and unity. British coin reverses have long rallied heraldic beasts to stand guard over value. None of this is neutral. To mint is to strike a version of the world onto metal and send it singing through hands like a mantra. Secrecy has politics. Central banks meet behind doors. Committees approve designs in minutes you don't read. Anti-counterfeiting teams sign NDAs that function like oaths. That is ordinary governance, but it is also initiation at scale. The mystique of money depends on the distance between the author and the user. Secret societies understood long ago that distance magnifies symbol. You don't need robes and a checkerboard floor to achieve it. A raised dais, a locked archive, or a restricted lab will do. Some will protest that this overreads, that the eye is simply providence, the pyramid simply classicism, the Latin simply classical fashion. Fair. But note how reliably the same families of symbol recur, in seals, in courtrooms, on bank pediments, on bonds, on bills, long after fashions shift. That persistence is not because committees copy last year's stamp. It is because the grammar is useful. The fraternity systematized it, the state adopted it, and the note preserves it because it works. It persuades without speaking. If you want a single test of how saturated the occult grammar is in money, try this. Explain a modern note entirely without reference to symbol. Try to describe the United States $1 bill as quantities only. Paper rectangle, green and black pigments, printed denominations, official signatures, serials. You will quickly fail. The thing will seem inert. Bring back the seal, the eagle, the shield, the mottos, the rosette lattices, the fine line portraits, the repeating numerals, and suddenly it lives. Value is not a number, it is a narrative in ink. What then do hidden authors of money really mean? Not puppet masters in a back room, but lineages of craftsmen and civil mystics who believed images shape souls. Freemasons gave public life a toolkit for meaning, pillars, eyes, compasses, ladders, suns, that bureaucracies found perfect for expressing permanence and supervision. Rosicrucians gave it a taste for radiance and transformation, roses, crosses, rays, the alchemical marriage, that engravers found perfect for security patterns. Printer guilds preserved the initiatory logic, degrees, secrets, touchstone tests, that mints translated into anti-counterfeiting regimes. Monetary design is their point of convergence. The proof is in your pocket. Your cash whispers empire and enlightenment at once. It quotes religion without being religious. It summons trust through geometry. It makes a prayer of Latin inevitabilities while presenting itself as pure utility. That is not accidental. It is the triumph of symbolic literacy, the thing secret societies cared about most, applied to the one object that every citizen touches. Spend it, and you participate in that liturgy. Refuse it, and you flee not only tax, but text. So the next time you hand a bill to a clerk or tip a driver, pause for the smallest fraction of a second and let your eyes track the old grammar, the eye overseeing, the builder's tears rising, the wreath binding, the number repeating until it hypnotizes. You do not need to believe in conspiracies to learn from what is plainly present. Money is a book. Secret fraternities helped teach the world how to write it. And the state, learning how belief travels, adopted the lesson so thoroughly that we forget there was ever a lesson to learn at all. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is the Manifestation series, where we don't just talk about manifesting, we master it. Because let's be honest, manifestation has been watered down, reduced to vague quotes, mood boards, and empty promises. But you didn't come here to wish. You came here to build a reality that hits different. A reality that responds to your frequency, your language, your alignment, and your decision to stop playing small. This series is not fluff. It's physics, frequency, and fierce creative power. Inside the Manifestation series, you're going to learn how to collapse timelines, shift identities, and speak worlds into existence, just like the greatest minds in history. This isn't just about being positive. This is about being powerful. Here's what you unlock inside. Vision to reality, the vision board course. You've heard about vision boards, but you've never done them like this. This is a full energetic ritual, a precision-coded map for your subconscious, designed to bridge image, frequency, and strategy. It's not arts and crafts. It's blueprinting your future in visual form and turning it into matter. Time, quantum timelines, and why time isn't real. Manifestation doesn't take time. It takes alignment. In this module, I'll show you how time is just a mirror of energy and how to collapse timelines using choice, clarity, and vibration. Past, present, future, they're happening now. And when you know how to navigate time quantum style, you stop waiting and start receiving. Quantum jumping, instantly up level. Your next level life isn't years away. It's one decision away. In this training, you'll learn how to quantum jump, how to shift into a version of you that already has what you desire. This isn't fantasy. It's how high-performance creators, athletes, and spiritual masters leap beyond limits. Jump now. Land in power. Every word. The power of affirmations and spoken language. Words build worlds. In this course, I show you how to use affirmations like spell work, not just repeating empty mantras, but speaking with vibration, intention, and spiritual force. If you've ever felt like affirmations don't work, this will change everything. You'll learn to command your field, not just request from it. The Greats, learning from the most exceptional minds in history. We're not the first to master this. In this legendary module, we decode the techniques, habits, and quantum genius of the world's most powerful manifestors, from ancient sages to modern icons. You'll learn how to think like the greats, move like the greats, and manifest like the greats. This isn't another feel-good series. This is a spiritual weapon, disguised as a manifestation course. It's made for leaders, cycle breakers, visionaries, and soul builders. You don't need another wish list. You need a system that teaches you how to bend reality. This is that system. So if you're ready to stop playing with potential and start creating results, welcome to your next level. The manifestation series is open now. You know what to do. Let's build what they said was impossible and make it inevitable.